I'm sharing my favorite basic wood attachment tips and products to help you make better decisions on your next DIY. You can purchase wood for crafts or DIYs from so many different places. You're even able to hit up a thrift store and find gems ready to just be made over that can cost just a few bucks. But I highly recommend buying in bulk, so to speak, and cutting them down yourself if you plan on making multiple scale products or more of, one style of one item. You know what I'm saying. Lowe's are my favorite place to hit up for finds like that. The Home Depot, I know it's Home Depot, but I like to say Home Depot. My local store has a pre-cut section where you can get like 4-foot pieces for less than $4. Well, about $4. And for my DIY friends that aren't afraid of a little elbow grease and don't mind sanding some pieces down, you can hit up the lumber section and get even more for your money at like 8 foot per piece. And depending on the type of wood you're purchasing, they even have a cut it yourself section where you can cut what you need inside the store. And if you don't want to cut what you need inside the store, they have their own cutting section where you can ask an associate for help. But some of us got tools at home and just like to DIY all of it. And people, if you're not looking to buy in bulk or cut down anything, Dollar Tree really is one of my favorite go-tos to buy pre-cut pieces. They even have dowels these days. As far as products go, when I'm looking for stuff for attachments, I like to hit up Walmart. I've been doing this for a really long time, and at this point, I feel like I can walk into Walmart. They have a huge selection. The prices are sometimes rolled back so I can save money, and there are times I even find pieces that are under $1. But I definitely find you get more per ounces bang for your buck. Even in the hot glue section, they have different options for you for brand and for size. These, for anyone interested, this is usually the pack that I grab. It's only $1.58. And SureBonder also has the mini sticks available. They are a little bit cheaper, and I've used these before. There's not really a whole bunch of difference, at least in my opinion. Take that information and do with it what you will. And for those of you that like using the larger glue sticks, they also have them in the larger packs for in between $5 or $10. And we'll talk about glue guns in just a minute. If you are not familiar with me, you would not know that this is my jam. This is my favorite glue to use. It bonds to plastic, wood, ceramic, rubber, it's amazing. And it cures pretty quick. The price is a little pricey, but you have different options that you can get this in. And I like the blue lid or the green lid. Both have worked fabulous for me. And they don't really have a smell like this stuff. And yes, you get more for your money, and this stuff works on ceramic and plastic and all the things, but I just am not a huge fan of this. I use it in a pinch. But that's not taken away from the fact that it works, and it works pretty well. And people, whether you're buying this little 94-cent bottle at Walmart or the $1.25 version at Dollar Tree or one of these larger bottles that they have here on the shelf, this is something you should have in your craft arsenal at all times. It's a go-to for me for attaching fabric, floral foam, or styrofoam to wood. As far as these other brands lingering around the ones I shared go, they're okay. I have tried them. They're just not my go-tos. I even did a video a couple years ago testing out different glues I can link down below that will show you the results of me taking a hammer to them. Mind the editing, it's several years old. As far as wood glue goes, there's really no right or wrong way. It's really what works best for you. My personal favorite can be found over in the little home DIY section. It is called Tight Bond. They have several different options for you to choose from, but recently my favorite love has been this blue bottle, and it is their quick and thick recipe. When you go to pick out a glue gun, the most important thing to keep in mind is the temperature. I recommend for wood using high temperature glue guns over 350 degrees. Lower temperature glue guns are best for materials like fabric, styrofoam, and plastic. And if you're not necessarily worried about the temperature, then it boils down to color, corded, not corded, design, battery operated, rechargeable, all the things, size glue sticks, the thick ones, the little ones. Pick a type based on what you think works best for your craft and style. My favorite, however, I'm a Ryobi girl, people. This is my favorite. I have tried about 5 different glue guns. This is hands down my go-to. Yes, it's a little pricey, but hey, I do this for a living, so it just makes sense for me. I will tell you, anybody interested, get you an extra battery because it can be rather annoying when that battery runs out and you're still working. Now people, I did start out with the big joint, okay? This sucker has some weight to it. I have some hand grip strength issues, and if you do too, I'm just full disclosure, it's heavy, okay? And it's bulky. So before you go wasting your money on the big joint and think that's your best option, take that into consideration. To really cover this topic right here, we would probably need to do a whole video on it to break it down properly, but we're going to go over some basics. All the things we've talked about so far are great ways to attach wood pieces. However, if you really want to ensure that your products are not falling apart, aside from all the glues, you have screws, you have nails, and you have joints that you can create to attach them. Dowel joints are an awesome way to ensure great bonds. Even if you are just doing a Dollar Tree project, taking your drill bit and creating 2 holes in separate pieces of wood the same size and adding a little bit of your favorite wood glue, putting a dowel in there, can really help connect the 2 pieces so much better than if you just squirt some hot glue on that sucker. But I know what most of you came here for, to meet the stapler. It has to be my most asked about question ever, is what kind of stapler is it and where do I get it? Well, here you go, people. A common question I get all the time is, where did I get my stapler from? Well, let's bring it on in. It's practically famous on my channel. This sucker is super light. If you struggle with hand grip strength, it's really easy to use and also really easy to replace the staples. So where did I get it? From Home Depot, and it costs about $15. And in case you're wondering what staples I use, because I get asked that too, these right here, and you can also grab them from Home Depot. And no, this is not sponsored. I'm just telling you what works for me, and hopefully it works out for you too. The last thing I want to talk about is why I use hot glue and other glues at the same time. If you take some hot glue and you just use that on a project, and then you stick that on a front door, in a windowsill, the heat is going to reactivate it. And you can test this by just squirting a little bit on a plate and then taking your heat gun after it dries, and you'll notice it reactivates. So imagine giving something like that to someone or selling a project with just hot glue on its own. While hot glue is amazing to get a quick and immediate hold, especially if you're crafting and you're building something, the other glues that we talked about in this video, the wood glue, the Gorilla Glue, the E6000, they're going to give you a long lasting hold and be able to withstand being put up against elements. And you'll notice here that as I've been creating this project, I'm using a mix of wood glue and hot glue, and I'm putting them next to each other. I am not overlapping them. One will cancel out the other, and I've had people ask, what does that mean? That means that you need the wood glue to touch wood to wood, and you need the hot glue to touch wood to wood. You do not want to put down a layer of hot glue and then try to put the wood glue right over top of it, because the wood glue is then touching the hot glue. It's not touching the product's material to get a bond. And the real purpose to using the hot glue is to get an immediate hold, because the wood glues and the Gorilla Glues, they take a little bit of time to dry. So if you're creating certain things, you know you need to paint them or do touch-ups or whatever, that hot glue is going to give you an immediate hold, while the other glues are going to give you that long lasting hold, and they will stand up against the elements. And it goes without saying, the staples, the screws, the nails, and the joint attachments, they all work even better. If you enjoyed this video, this tutorial right here is going to give you even more DIY information to help you along your journey. As always, people, thank y'all so much for hanging out with me today, and until next time, bye!